Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live here in UFRL, and this is the UFRT, and this is, I think it's a FRLT as a league race for the UFRT eSports team, and as you can see, we've got three POVs on show. We've got Pesci in the top left, we've got Declan in the top right, and we've got Hazer in the bottom. We're just going to put some sound on so you can now hear the chat as well. So they are in a call, and it's pretty much just going to be a watch along so you guys can see all the POVs all in one. We can go full screen on drivers at certain points if it's required. Good evening to Wovana, and obviously it's a first time. I do have the league POV on one of my screens as well, but I haven't been given the access to put it on here, so it's, we have asked but nobody's got back to us, so that's why it's not included. Hopefully maybe for next week it can be, but yeah, we'll have to wait on somebody to get back to us for that one. But anyways, for three POVs obviously are drivers. So as for one, the Bird's POV, well, it's not included because he can't go live at the moment. Hopefully that can be fixed over the next couple of months. 19 drivers are here in total, so you have got, of course, 5 teams as well. So one team does not have the full amount of drivers, interestingly. And I've actually noticed 2 drivers have already retired from the session. You've got a Visa RB and a Ferrari, both retiring early doors. So interesting for that one. Let's see, as Pesci in the top left there, just invalidating on his lap time. And there's a fast lap 1:14.6. Looks like Hayes is just about ahead of everyone else's, very close though. And now there's a runner red going quickest as well. Oh, and the Bird, there you go, the Bird shooting up. The Bird's got a 14.2. He is now P1. So the Bird doing bits for us at this moment in time. And let's see what Pesci's going to do. Is he going to go straight into the pit? It looks like he most likely will. Oh no, he's going again. He's not really got any battery to go again, and maybe just seeing what his time would have been. It would have been a 14.4 for Pesci, which would have actually put him just behind Runner Red. And it would have been enough for P3 at that point. But there you go, Bird, the quickest so far. And we're just seeing more drivers come through. There's a quicker time, 1:14.1 for Unknown. Deck slots into P3. So good effort from Deck, 14.338 for him. And good evening to Angry Badger as well. Hopefully no drivers getting too angry in a chat tonight. Both drivers from TTRE, that's obviously another team, are just behind LeBird and Deck at the moment, as Hazer invalidates both this and his next lap. So we obviously cut the corner for the final little chicane. Let's see if any of our drivers are going to be on a lap. Obviously, they're not on a lap at the moment, given their deltas are all down 5 seconds or so. But 1:14.1, the quickest so far from Unknown, but the Bird is second and Deck is third. Hazer and Pesci yet to set a time. Good evening, EM. Yeah, obviously, if you guys have comments, feel free to post them, and even more so tonight, because it is effectively a watch-along. And there's background noise that you can hear. Well, you can hear the driver speak. Yep, 2 secs, Jack. Let me have a look. That's going to be tricky to do in the stream, though. I mean, you can only see a few details in that in a way. It's not like major, as long as they don't go to change too much in their setup. I don't really have any I'll reply to it on here.
It's moving forward. Also, just said rain in 10 to 15 minutes for quality. Yeah,
let's go on with Pesci. Just whilst he's sorting a few things out.
Yeah, it's just why not?
I won't get feeling like pressing speed anymore. As I said.
We're not too bad in the fucking rain, so it's in 5 minutes, you better get out like right now and get a fucking lap in again.
I'm going out again, but it says 10 minutes.
It says 5 for me.
Oh fuck! I went out unused because thought I'd time.
Yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna go out again.
Right,
We can
car's
definitely
ready.
improve on that.
Let's
That's
get
for
it out
sure.
there.
Right, so we've got a few drivers just starting to go out. Pesci, obviously the first of those. It's still looking good though for the two drivers who have set a lap time of 14.2. The Bird still P2, and Deck with a 14.3 is still P3. So
Just
top
clicked on
three for the pair of them already. You've still got Pesci and Hazer to
Pesci's
come.
face.
As we can see, Pesci is out on circuit, and you're just seeing also Deck and now Hazer. So all three going back out. You would expect them to all go for 3 attempts
It's a few laps
of a hot lap.
so I've just got
14.125, how beatable is that this evening? Let's find out. We will go... Who should we go on board with? Should we go on board with one of the drivers on their lap? Maybe we go on board with Pesci. Just see what he can do on his run because he's yet to set a time. Either way, it will be important to get these laps in, especially for Pesci and Hazer, both on an out lap. There are only there's only a few drivers on track on a lap at the moment, but none of them going particularly quickly, it seems. So no purple sectors at sea. We're just on with Ryan Banink in the Williams. Is he going quicker? 59.4 rather. And Flovis went quicker, but only P9. So none of these drivers going as quickly as ours at the moment. So yeah, it's still looking good. And there you go, you can see Pesci gaining a tenth, just losing a little bit through the opening couple of corners, however. Let's go back on then with Pesci. So he just loses a bit of time on the exit. The delta is compared to his previous attempt, which I think was a 14.4, which is a couple of tenths behind Bird, about 3 tenths behind the quickest time so far. So that is what his delta is up against. As you can see, it's just about a tenth or so down on that, so doesn't look like he's going to go particularly quickly as he tries to gain a bit of time back there. But I think it's going to be about a 14.4, 14.5 for Pesci on this lap, as long as he can nail the chicane, which he doesn't really do either. Not too far off though, as Unknown 13.8, there you go. Very quick, and he's actually... Floris did go quicker with a 14.0 for the V-carbs as well. So a couple of quicker times being posted. But still, Bird and Deck up the order and Pesci decides to back out of it. But what about this? We've got a quicker time potentially from Deck. 1/10 up, purple middle sector as well. Might just go ahead of the Bird here into P3. I don't know if he can quite get ahead of Floris for second. He needs about 3 tenths in total for that. 1.5 tenths here though for Deck. Like, you're all going about 10th in total. And yeah, it's just ahead of Deck and up, ahead of Bird rather, up into 4th. Ryan Bannick setting a 13.9 for the XR8 team. And he goes second. But yeah, Bird and Deck still in that top 5. And we'll drop back. See Hazer coming down to P12 and 15.2, obviously. Not particularly representative for him. Maybe just getting that banker lap in. And good evening to Wizard Rex as well. At least Hazer's got a lap in now. We still need Pesci to get a run. Well, 7 minutes of qualifying to go, so still enough time to go for two attempts here for Pesci. But a lot of work to do. But Deck and Bird are still looking strong. Put it back on with Pesci then. P18, even though, yeah, 2 drivers haven't set a time. So all Pesci needs to do, if he sets a time, he'll go P17 at the absolute worst. Let's see what else is on offer. You've got a McLaren, who is improving. He might actually get ahead of our 2 drivers, Deck and Bird. So Deck's gone to P5, Bird has gone to P6 for the time being. So they are dropping a little bit further down, but not too much. But this McLaren of Jack F1 is improving as well. And across the line he'll go. And Jack only P8, so we're still ahead of him. Deck P5, Bird P6. Just to wait on Pesci to kickstart his run. Hazer still 15-2. Let's have a little check back what's happening. We got Hazer on a lap now, so let's go towards him. Gaining by a couple of tenths through sector 1, so of course you'd expect him to improve his previous attempt. Not representative, a little bit slippery on the exit, however, on the curb there, but does improve nicely. Oh, expecting some rain in a few minutes. That's why drivers are trying to get their laps in quickly. That's a little bit dangerous for Pesci as well. Pesci not on a lap right now, but I think he's just about to start a lap, Pesci, so we will go to him next. We're just trying to watch out for Bird as well. 14-2 at the moment for Bird, who was also on a lap. And Bird is gaining by 2 tenths through sector 1. So Bird, potentially on a flyer, may even challenge the top 2 of Unknown and Ryan Bannock as well. And slot into the top 2. But let's stick on with Hazer. Just a couple of errors in this lap, but he is gaining a lot of time out of the final corner. And here comes Hazer. He opts to go into the pit, so not wanting to set a lap time there, Hazer. Therefore, let's go down towards Pesci. Look at that. That's an improvement. 4 tenths. And that was on the invalidated lap time. So, Pesci, the invalidation was a 0.4, which right now would have been enough for about P9. Obviously, now it's about 2.5 tenths. So, he still might get a low 14 here for Pesci. But is this his final attempt before the rain hits? Either way, Pesci coming up to the line now. 2.5 tenths up, and it's P7 for Pesci, just behind Deck. 14-2-1-1 for Pesci. Right, let's drop out of that one then. As you can see, there's also, as you can see there on Deck's view, there is rain in the race. That's going to make things interesting. So right now the positions Bird with that time went second fastest. And he is 0.001 behind the Ferrari in P1. So the Bird absolutely flying in P2. So Bird P2, Deck P7, Pesci P8, Hazer P13 are the current positions. Wow, the Bird doing a mighty job there. So Pesci back out on track. All the other 2 drivers, what about Bird? Bird's still out on circuit in the Mercedes. He'll go into the pits, but I think that'll be Bird done.
Hazer, you need to go for one more round. You can't be so far back.
There's a quicker time there, 13.629. Good time, that one.
Work together maybe from P7, P8, but
Nice. Who's just about to start a run, so it looks like
okay,
Pesci getting closer. Hazer's got a runner red. I want a driver just off track there. Pesci's gone into the pit, so it's P10 for Pesci, and he's not going to improve on that run.
I just improved 30.6.
Got Hazer, and you've got Deck on laps as well. What about Bird? Bird's back into the pit, so yeah, Bird will be done for qualifying. Still a few drivers out and also on out laps. The guy in P2 has now retired from the session. That's some Unknown who out-qualified Bird by 1,000th of a second. So very close. Fine margins between them. Pesci still P10. But that'll be his session done. It seems with 2.5 minutes to go. Unless he can get out there quickly enough. Still a chance for him if he wants to push on again. Hazer in P15. He's the one who needs to get a lap in, and he is on a lap now. We're going to go towards Hazer. He needs this lap. And obviously trying to gain a bit of time down the straight. But here we go. What can Hazer do? Can he get himself into the top 10? But I think the rain has kicked here. And the rain has kicked in. Therefore, he's just not going to gain that time. And drivers are now retiring. So it's pretty much done for Hazer, unfortunately. We're just going to get the quality up a little bit. I mean, he's still gaining time, to be fair to him, through Sector 1, but he's going to struggle with that rain in mind. So, Hazer's going to be P15 here in qualifying, it looks like. He's still gaining.
check how the percentages vary.
The guy ahead of him is only barely a tenth ahead of Hazer, so he can still get up to P14 with a good lap here. Although that McLaren who's on a lap is just finishing one now, but it's not a good time. So Hazer could get ahead of the McLaren and up to P14. He needs less than a tenth of a second, and as you can see, he's a tenth up on the Delta. That's dropping now. It's going to be close. With the current times, it is close. Oh, that's a harsh next lap invalidation there. either way, it wouldn't have quite
What's
done
gonna
enough.
happen in the race?
So
Like,
Hazer will
like,
qualify
just about like
P15.
betting on the right time when it switches
A
over
few
for
drivers
me.
still on track. Not really
No,
sure
make them
why.
do
1
it
minute to
like
go
that.
then.
It's not stuff to
And it
do
will be
it.
P3 for the Bird,
If you got great.
P9 for Deck, P10 for
Hazer, you should
Pesci,
have
and
box, mate. I mean, we
P15
shouldn't have ruined the
for
spare.
Hazer. Good evening to Bakey Gaming as well. But yeah, the Bird up there in P3.
Do you have a spare
Very,
one?
very
Hazer?
strong qualifying from him. Yeah, superbly done. So
I've got a
good
I've
effort
got,
from
no, I've
Bird.
got no sides left.
I think they all
As
obviously
on that
tried their
one, like
best.
5% one.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. That's a view. So that's the view of the
I
order
thought I
then.
tried anyway. It's like 15th.
That is the
Which is
complete
extremely
full
good.
order for you guys.
Guys,
Bird,
it's a long
Deck,
race.
Pesci, and
We can
Hazer.
always overtake Hazer. Just
All in their positions.
This is gonna be the fact there's
Yeah,
3
Bird's done
teams
well
here
to
really
get up there in
makes it
P3. Fair play. GG, unlucky with the rain on the
definitely.
last lap for Hazer. Yeah, I mean, they knew the rain was coming. They
I
did
got like
know.
10th there, like right in the
But
middle.
you've also got to think the rain is going to be there in the race, and by the sounds of it, it might be raining for the entirety of the
Was it really
event.
fucking depressing that for me, man? I don't even know how much to
Let's
fucking improve.
go on with this view. Go on with this view whilst it's got the full results on there for you. Decker Pesci in tandem, both on the 5th row, which I think is both Scottish, both Red Bull, so might as well be together, right?
Who was that just?
Only 6 thousandths of a second separating them as well.
Microphone.
That's Declan.
Maybe whilst they're having their
Thank you,
little pre-race discussions, we'll let them do that in silence, because otherwise it would be a little bit unfair. So we'll let them have their discussions, and then once they get down to the racing, we will get straight into it and put these sounds back on. Not sure. I mean, the strategies may very well all be the same, especially if it is going to be raining all the race. I am going to look on one of the POVs just to see if it will be. Or maybe the weather icons can clearly indicate it for us. Who's the first one? It looks like it might be Hazer. Well, I can see on the stream already it is raining. And there you go, Hazer. Yeah, raining all race. That's just going to be intermediate throughout. So it will be inters all race then. As you can see, Pesci just sorting a few bits out. And then you got Deck as well. But yeah, this is going to be a tricky race, this one. See it on the stream as well. It is obviously it's going to stay intermediates. Safety cars, safety cars on. I hope they are. Just for the sake of things, because we might need one. And you got 30 seconds starting already, so there's no 5-minute break. Not like we do. It's going to be straight into things. So we will be starting in about 15 seconds or so. The one who can see the most would be Hazer. It's a shame we don't have Bird's POV, but again, I can keep you updated on that, although the stream I'm watching is a little bit back.
Wake your ass up. Let's go. It's race time.
Indeed it is, Wovena. Indeed it is. And as you can see, the lights have started out for Hazer and for Pesci in the left, and also for Deck in the right. And Pesci's underway, Hazer's underway. Strong start for Pesci. It seems trying to draw alongside his teammate Deck. Oh, he has done. He succeeded, and we're going to go on board then with Pesci, who's up into 8th place, and he's onto the grass a little bit. And he gets a track limits warning. Will he drop back behind his teammate? Yes, he does. He holds on to P10. Looks like there's a driver potentially off track as well. And Gatcha, the two TTRE teammates just ahead of Deck and Pesci, and there's a lot of lag for Tobias. Jesus. That's Mackey's. He's gone to McDonald's today, I think. I think he might stay there. He won't be coming back home after that Mackey's Wi-Fi. Crikey. Right, Deck and Pesci then still in the top 10. We can have a look back towards Hazer as well. And Hazer P15 holding position. The Bird, meanwhile, stays P3 behind the two XR8 drivers. And they are 1 and 2. Let's go back to the full POV then. So, yeah, Pesci top left. Deck top right, and Hazer in the bottom. And let's get the sounds back on, shall we? This is the sound from Deck, by the way. I did try Pesci's earlier, but the sound quality wasn't great, so I'm going to go with Deck's as a result. Obviously, I'm just trying to focus in these conditions. That's what it's all about. Looks like Pesci's got some reasonable pace as well. as has Deck. So they're both trying their best to work together. And Deck all over the rear of the TTRE driver. We might have to go towards him and just see if he's going to pounce on the Aston here. And around the outside is he going to go. He's trying to burn all that battery. And he's going for it. Here he comes. It's a move on the outside. It's super close, super sketchy. And Gatcha stays ahead of Deck. Oh, there's a bit of a half spin there from Gatcha as well. Could Deck take advantage of this? Doesn't look like it, unfortunately. And there you go. She's going to try for a little bit of a switchback move. Unable to deliver. Has to settle for 9th. Has another look on the inside. Trying to force Gatcha into a mistake here is Deck. But the Red Bulls just have to settle for their places in the top 10. Hazer still P15. Bird still P3. A covered update as well for you. But Pesci and Deck right there together here. As our Hazer picks up a track limits warning. I think that was his first from what I've seen. So I think it's 1 for Pesci, 1 for Hazer. No time penalties as yet from P1 down to P19. So they're all together. Well, mostly. There are a couple of drivers who have dropped back. The 2 kick Saubers are outside of the pack. And you've also got the Visa RB and P19. So 3 or 4 drivers are out of the pack. And Ryan Banning, currently P2, has got the fast lap. But the XR8 drivers, let's just say they look quick. But we're doing it right here. P3, P9, P10, P15 for all of our 4 drivers. So, oh, here comes a move from Deck. Had a look on the outside of Tobias, just not quite making it stick either. And Hazer still there in P15. But on these inters, it will be tricky to make these overtakes. There are moves being made, actually. And the 2 TTRE drivers seem to have just switched positions here. I will go on board with Deck. Gatcha has overtaken the Mackey's wife. Oh, sorry, Tobias. My mistake on that. So Gatcha's up the order and into 7th position now. So he's got that move done. But Deck still close towards him here. We've also got the other TTRE driver, Runner Red, in P5 for... So there you go. So they're trying to work together as well. Where's the other TTRE driver? So they've got the Haas. And the Haas is nowhere to be... Oh, it's the Haas. So TTRE, the drivers that we are clearly battling with, well, TTRE have 1 driver missing this evening. That is why we're only down to 19 and not 20. And let's see here, it's Deck. You can see just how much closer, how much more grip he's got compared to Tobias. Can he get through and up into 8th place? A couple of penalties are occurring further back as we hear from Black Panther and Nicole. An Alpine and a kick Sauber both on a penalty, and Deck getting very close on the right side here. He's going for the overtake on Tobias on the Mackey's Wi-Fi. I don't know where he's going, but Deck has found his way through, has he? Yes, he has. Deck up into 8th place. Big move from him. Now we can close in on the V-carb just ahead. Let's go on with Pesci. He's now going to have a look on the inside, trying to make Tobias feel uncomfortable. Tobias actually makes a defensive move. Jack on the outside of Pesci. It's risky here, and Pesci may just lose out here to the McLaren, but he just holds him off and holds on to P10. So looking quick. I think the likes of Pesci and Jack as well behind look quicker than Tobias here. You can see Deck starting to have a bit of a pull on Tobias, so he's trying to put away about 0.6 of a second now. Pesci here. And also you've got to factor in the undercuts. You don't necessarily have to pit, but 32 laps at Imola, you might have no choice. Depending on the tyre wear, which you do presume you will have to stop again. And you can see just Tobias shaking it all about here, struggling so much. And Pesci knows that, but Pesci's not got a lot of battery, so he's going for the move. Does Tobias have enough? Oh! Hello. Crikey, that was close, and that would allow Jack to go straight through, and that would also allow for Bianchi to fly through. Oh, Tobias is on the grass, so Pesci loses 2, but gains 1. And it gains on Tobias here. And it looked like maybe something with Hazer. I think I heard Hazer speak there. Hazer is also ahead of Tobias. Hazer in P14. So, did lose a couple of places there, Pesci, unfortunately, but also did gain 1. So, Pesci now in P11. Deck P8, and he's got Flores just ahead of him, 1.3 ahead. Hazer P14 still in the pack. Bird is now up into P2. He has overtaken Ryan Banning. So the Bird is up into second position now. Definitely wish he was streaming because it would be great to see his POV. But yeah, Bird is doing well. He's still 2.3 behind the race leader. Maybe you could see it on a track map actually. If I go on board with someone, maybe I'll go on board with Hazer just for a moment. You can see on a track map in the bottom left of your screen. The Bird is in the Mercedes. There's the Williams who is leading. That's the margin between P1 to P2. And that's just over 2 seconds. So XR8 do look strong, and the Bird is right in between them in second. Tobias now has picked up a 3-second penalty, and he is behind Hazer and Freedom as well. And Tobias retired from a session, so Mackie's Wi-Fi disappears from the Grand Prix, and we see again, who do we go towards? Deck, Pesci. Probably Pesci is the best option. He's got good pace still. You've got Jack and Bianchi not really clearing him here. They were applying the pressure on Pesci, who was applying the pressure himself to Tobias. And they're all working hard to try and catch the cars ahead. Hayes is in this pack as well. Let's go Deck, Sade, Woody. We have a little look at what Deck's doing at the moment. He's in P8. Apparently it's heavy rain, according to the game. It kind of is, yeah. I can see where the game's coming from. As you can see, Deck is getting closer to Flores now, down to just 9/10 of a second. Compare that to the 1.3 seconds a few moments ago. So he is making inroads. And the Bird also is within 2 seconds of the race leader. And he is quicker right now than the Alpine in that lead. So he's looking good. Again, and the Bird looking like he's putting in his strongest performance yet. Let's have a look here. As Pesci, is he going to look for an overtake again? Just lacking on the battery. But Jack on the inside of Bianchi. He's going to go for it. These two going side by side. This could give Pesci a chance here. Looks like Bianchi's just ahead. Will there be a bit of contact between the two drivers ahead? Just about not. Jack trying to go for a switchback manoeuvre. He's got Tygo behind Pesci as well. Pesci just about keeping Tygo at bay. He's got the one warning, don't forget, as has Hazer. And Bianchi has got through on Jack, and that means that Pesci's under pressure here from Tygo. Don't go for the move. Hopefully the McLaren just, in the end, doesn't have enough, but he's still side by side. It's dangerous play. I think Tygo might have it here. Come on, Pesci. That's it, Pesci. There you go. Pesci just about does enough and holds on to P11. Tygo getting, quite pushy, until the point he's lost out to Satcher behind. Tygo down to P13. So Satcher has got through on Tygo. In terms of other things, well, the Bird now 1.8 seconds behind that Robbie in the race lead. So he's still slightly gaining on your race lead and is starting to put a little bit ahead of Ryan Banning in third as well. That gap between Bird and Ryan is 0.6 of a second. So Bird still delivering well. Pesci getting held up, yeah. Might have to think about some form of undercut potentially for Pesci here to clear Bianchi and Jack. Satcher going for the move on the outside. Pesci's really struggling on the battery, isn't he? Now going side by side, a bit of contact. Come on, Pesci, keep it together. And he is just ahead there. He needs to recharge that battery. He just needs to. He's struggling on the battery at the moment, isn't he? That's probably a key reason as to why he's down the order in P11 and why he's not quite got enough down the straights to keep other drivers behind him. You've got Deck in P8. You've also got Hazer still in P14. And you can see Hazer right behind that battle where Pesci is leading at the moment. And Runner Red, interestingly, set the fastest lap in P6. You can just about see that from Deck's view. And there you go, as you heard in the chat there, P4, P5, Ferrari, Aston Martin do have 3-second time penalties. As does Hazer. I've just seen Hazer now getting himself a 3-second penalty as well. So disappointing one for the Mercedes there. And Hazer trying to take Tygo. He's gone off into the gravel. He's got Freedom there as well. And I think Freedom's got through on Hazer as well. So Hazer just dropping back to P15 now. And Deck's going for an overtake. Let's go on with Deck here. He's going to move on Flovis and Deck up into the top 7. So there you go. Declan firing his way through. And can he hold on to it? Does he have enough battery to demise Floris? Yes, he does. So Declan up the order into 7th place then. Good move from him. Another track limits warning there for Hazer. I think he just needs to relax a little bit into this race as he's slipping and sliding. But Hazer just still hanging on to the car. Well, apparently the weather is easing off, but obviously it's not going to ease off in this race. It's going to stay intermediates through the entirety of this event. The Bird, meanwhile, I have to give you an update. The Bird is getting close to being within 1 second of the race leader, Robbie. He's 1.1 behind now. That is how quick the Bird is going. And he is really gaining some tempo here. Wow, the Bird looking strong. Very well played for him. Again, wish he was streaming so I could show it to you guys, but I can give you some good updates on that. But yeah, he's just 1.1 seconds behind Robbie in this race. Right, in terms of going down the straight, who looks the closest? Well, Pesci is pretty close. He's not getting into a position to go for the move just yet. Still very low on the battery though. He definitely needs to get a bit of a recharge here. And the Bird now is within 1 second of Robbie. The gap, 9/10 of a second now. So the Bird is absolutely on a flyer. And hopefully he can overtake. But he's actually lost a bit of time to the car behind him. Ryan Bannock in 3rd. It's within half a second of the Bird. So it's getting close there. And as you can see, we're going to go on board with Hazer. Because Freedom. And he got Tygo as well. Come on, Hazer. He's going for it on Tygo on the outside. It's going to be super close. And unfortunate not to make a move. Satcher with an error there. Satcher with an error. This could hold up Tygo on the inside line. Tygo's flying in. He's trying to go round the outside on Satcher. Come on, Hazer. Try and get something. He's going for a move. He's going for it on Tygo. What can he do against the McLaren? On the inside. And he's just dropping behind, in fact. Hazer just settling for P15 there. Very close. Got loads of battery on board as well, Hazer. He's going for it here on Tygo. Tygo cannot defend this, can he? Come on, Hazer. He tries to brake a bit later. Tygo's joining him. Hazer on the outside. Still on the outside. Hazer's got ahead. And Hazer's got back into P14. Good move there from Hazer. Let's see on other POVs. Here comes Pesci. Pesci's going for the overtake on Jackazy. No, not quite. He does remain in 11th position for Pesci. Can't quite get through these 2 drivers, but you do feel like he's got an opportunity. Still needs to recharge that battery a little bit better. Still got 20% or so. Go on deck, says Angry Badger. Yeah, he's doing well. P7. Bird still 1 second behind. Robbie, yellow flags at the rear. That's a Visa RB. That's literally last place as well. So nothing too major in terms of our guys. Oh, a few penalties going in. Bianchi and Freedom have both got time penalties now. That's Freedom on 9 seconds of penalties as well. And Bianchi has 3 seconds. So a couple of crucial penalties potentially for our drivers. That means Pesci would overtake Bianchi and go to P10. Deck right now could be on for P4 due to the penalties for 2 drivers ahead of him. And Hazer will overtake Freedom, it seems. I wouldn't do a 2-stopper. I'd say a 1-stopper. That's the only way. Got to factor in, you can't do, if you do a 2-stopper, that's just going to lose you too much, I think. I think Pesci should do an undercut, personally. From what I'm seeing, Deck's doing okay. And Hazer can... Well, he's just lost a bit of time to a couple of guys ahead, so he's just going to have to Try and pull something. Again, a little bit slippery there from Hazer. The Bird, meanwhile, now half a second behind the race leader, Robbie. I mean, the Bird, absolute masterstroke here at Imola this evening. Yeah, half a second back from Robbie, and he's looking good. And he might not even need to go. The only issue is for the Bird, because he's right in between the two drivers from XR8. He's going to be under a bit of pressure in terms of doing some form of undercut. He might go for an overcut, but if he does, it's going to be risky. And the Bird is going side by side with Ryan now. And, oh, no. I wonder if Bird may have been pushed off there because he's got a 3-second penalty. And Bird's now down to P5, and I don't know, was he pushed off by Ryan potentially? Might have to think about stopping very soon here, Bird. And let's see if he does on this lap according to the league on the stream. No, he's not, so he stays out, Bird. But he's down to P5, unfortunately. We're going to go on board with Pesci as Hazer is into the pits now, going for an undercut.
Next lap, box next lap.
Pesci looks for a move on Jack again. Just being held up by these two, isn't he? But he needs to regain the battery. It's just too low on the battery front. 20% again. He's struggling on the curb there. Come on, Pesci. Ah, he can't quite get it. And the McLaren stays ahead. Jack on the outside. So Hazer now out of the pits on the fresh set of inters. Is he going to go for a 2-stop or is he going to go for the 1-stop strategy? Hopefully it's just a 1. Hopefully it's just an early undercut. I think you'll lose too much time if you go for the 2-stopper here.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
I mean, Hazer looks better on the battery front, but obviously struggling a little bit compared to the likes of Pesci and Deck on the pace.
Pesci and Bird box.
There's so much more.
The 2 Red Bulls might be about to pit as well. The Bird is pitting. So the Bird is pitting here. So he's going to go for the inters, and I think Pesci will follow him in. Yes, he does. So Bird's in and Pesci's in as well. So that's our 2 drivers. Hazer's fighting. Hazer's gone round the outside. He's really broken later there. And he's got through on... I'm going to call him Monk. I know it's not Monk, but I'm not going to call it... Okay. You know, he's got through on the kick saber anyway. So he's up to P15. Had to break later there to get himself through. So the Bird coming out of the pit as is Pesci. The Bird is behind Ryan Banning. And they're not miles... Yeah, they are. They are actually miles ahead of Pesci. I was lying there.
Pesci, I think you can beat those 2 idiots who were slower there.
Just hear what's being said about those 2 are ahead of Pesci.
Yeah, because they didn't box this lap as well. And if you can keep
POVs should go. If we're just going to go on board with Deck in the top right, you might be about to pit as well. A lot of drivers going for the undercut strategies. It can work in favour of them here, but can Deck find his way through on Runner Red? Surprised Runner Red is back here, but he's clearly struggling more, and Deck's going for the pit stop. So Deck is in, deciding he's not going to risk staying out. So Deck's in for the Red Bull team. And of course that means the only one yet to pit is, well, nobody. They've all pitted in this race. So some of the race leaders have still stayed out. You've got the 2 from TTRE, Gatcha and Runner Red are still out. Flores is still out. Robbie is still out. Robbie, of course, has been leading the entire event. Right, so Deck coming out the pits. Pesci not too far behind him. And Gatcha receives a 3-second time penalty for TTRV at the moment. He's P2. He's right behind Robbie, in fact. So Robbie seems to have just struggled in the pace to the point where Gatcha's caught him. And Hader set a fast lap of 22.8. So Hader's on a bit of a flyer here as well. Ryan Banning past Tiger. That's up to P6. None of our drivers are battling anyone at the moment. Although the Bird is within 1 second of both Ryan Banning and Tiger ahead of him. That's P6, P7 and P8. The Bird currently in 8th position there, ahead of Unknown as well by 1.3 seconds. So, and a couple more time penalties coming in. R6, so he's right at the back in P18, so that's a penalty for him.
We can't lose time behind these guys. He goes very slow, so we have to get past him.
As you can hear there, I think the Bird's going to go for the move on Tygo. And here he goes, and he does get the move. Hazer receives a penalty, however.
Yeah,
But the Bird up into 7th. He is trying to fight it, but he has got the move done now. So Bird up into 7th ahead of Tygo in the McLaren. And now Bird is going to try and track down Ryan Banning. We're going to wait for a few more people to come out of the pit as well, because as you can see on deck, he is behind Gatch, who has 6 seconds of penalties as well. So it looks like Deck is in a position to overtake Gatcha and get through on Unknown as well. So it could still be a top 7 for Deck, and we've obviously got a couple of drivers yet to pit. Fingers crossed, he could be making his way up into the top 5 even. Seeing what? I mean, well, I say that, actually Deck right now, technically because of the Bird's penalty, he would actually get ahead of the Bird as well, possibly. Although he is actually a little bit further back from him. Just trying to keep watch what's happening on the stream as well. Let's go back to the full view. Still got Pesci in there as well. Hopefully Pesci can gain a couple of places once people are pitting. I think Hayes is going to struggle to gain many positions. Hopefully again though, he might be able to gain a couple. And the race leaders are in. So Robbie, Runner Red, Flores. They're all into the pits here. And this could give Bird a chance. Hopefully Bird can get ahead of them all. I think he will. So Ryan Banning is in the race lead for XR8. Freedom is P2. Bird is P3. So he has gained a couple of places since pitting now. Of course, he had a strong start, was up to P2, but then it seemed like he may have had a bit of contact with another driver, which just dropped him down a little bit, but either way, he's got himself back up the field to 3rd place. And Robbie is behind Deck. Now, Deck, this is where your defensive skills may have to come into play, because Robbie has been quick so far in this Grand Prix. At the same time, he won't want to lose too much time. Oh, a couple of drivers going side by side. That's the Bird. Bird's going on it, and he's got the move on Freedom. A little bit aggressive, maybe, but Bird is up into P2 ahead of Freedom now. Within 3 seconds of Ryan Banning, who has looked fairly quick so far in this race in the Williams. So, Ryan, who was right behind the Bird early doors. But the Bird has overtaken Ryan once in this race so far. Can he do it again? 2.2 seconds to gap, and he is continuing to close in. So Deck in 6th, but would gain a couple of spots at the moment and go into the top 4. Robbie not closing in particularly quickly, still 1.2 seconds back, so I see on the screen it is 1 second, but it's not particularly great from Robbie so far. Got the 2 drivers ahead of him trying to go side by side there, Gatcha and Freedom. Freedom is ahead of Gatcha. As you can see, they've both got 9 seconds of penalties, so it's a clear disadvantage for those two, and a clear advantage for Deck. Freedom a little bit slippery there. Deck knows he has got an opportunity to find his way through, and here we go, he's all over Freedom. He is so much quicker than Freedom. But look at this, Robbie is right in behind now. Oh, it's a slip from Freedom. It's a Freedom slip. And Deck goes through. Deck is through. Freedom loses out to Robbie as well. Deck stays ahead of Robbie and is into P5 here. So Deck has found his way through in this battle. And he's got Gatcha up by 2.3 seconds. And now it could be a real defensive job here from Deck. But he's going to have to... He can still gain good places here. You've got Unknown and Gatcha with penalties ahead. Deck can still battle for a podium even out of all of this. But Robbie, we know, has been very quick. This is going to be too difficult for Deck potentially. He's trying to use a battery, but here comes Robbie around the outside. It's going to be super tough for him. Go on, Deck. Robbie's trying to break later as he held it. Yeah, I mean, it's a good move by Robbie in all fairness to him. Can Deck hit back? Not quite. I think what I'd be telling to Deck is relax, don't worry about it. You know what? You're still in a good place. And yes, through goes Hamilton, indeed. Should be celebrating other drivers getting ahead, Badger. But there you go, so Deck still behind Robbie. Oh, a 3-second penalty for Runner Red in P7 as well now. So Runner Red with that penalty. He's ahead of Pesci by just over 3 seconds. So Pesci could get ahead of Runner Red here in this race. Deck's still in a good place. He can get P4 out of this. An easy P4 could be on the cards for Deck here. And Pesci can take Runner Red potentially and gain 1 place. Hazer is going to struggle, but he's in P12 at the moment, Hazer, but he does have a penalty as well. And Bird has a penalty, but he's P2, but the 2 behind him also have penalties. So really, Bird is going to stay P2. Deck may get up to P4. Pesci looks like he might be able to get up to P8. Hazer may stay P12, but I think overall they are good positions. And the Bird is fairly level on pace with Ryan, maybe just a little bit quicker. Actually, Ryan has made a mistake, so it's made it 1.7 between the two. Ryan in P1, Bird in P2. We're gonna stay on with Deck whilst he is close behind Robbie here. Pesci not quite within a 3 seconds of Runner Red to take that P8 away. But Deck's doing well to keep pace with Robbie. And we've seen what Robbie's done in this race. I did that when Deck went through it today. Oh, okay, no worries, that's okay. All good, Badger. That's your excuse for not trying to celebrate other drivers getting through, isn't it? No, I'm joking. Stick on with Deck. He's quick though. Factor in, Robbie was the race leader earlier in the race, by the way. So Robbie was the race leader, and yet you can see Deck is sticking with him well. Because he doesn't want to lose too much time to a couple of guys like Gatcha and Unknown, who both have penalties as well. Yep, I completely agree with the call. Pesci is losing a bit of time, unfortunately. But Bird's 1.1 behind Ryan. He's 1.1 back, and he's closing in quickly here, Bird. And who knows if that penalty goes away, if he can appeal that time penalty, then he's now within a second. Bird's got a shot here of a potential victory. I wouldn't rule him out. I would not rule out the Bird. But here comes Deck, still as he gets his way through on a lapped car. He's got Robbie still right in front of him. Deck's doing really well, Bird's doing really well, Pesci and Hayes are putting in good efforts as well. I think all 4 drivers have put in a valiant attempt here. But the Bird can still come away with a race win.
I'll go back in stream mode.
Deck just sticking with Robbie. Is that Jack I can hear in the background? Yes, it is. So you've got the whole voice call in the background there. So you've got Deck, Pesci, Bird, you've got Drac, and you've got Hazer all in there. I don't know, there might even be more people than that. Black Panther's in there. Just them 6, I think. Again, there might be 1 or 2 others. I don't know if the poems are in there as well. But yeah. Minimum 6. Still watching this. Oh, so Runner Red's getting a bit of a challenge now because Flores is within 2/10 of him. So they're P7 and P8 ahead of Pesci. Just going to quickly move back to the screen as you can see. Yeah, Pesci and Hazer are not in a battle. So Hazer is P13. He's got 6 seconds of penalty, so he's at risk of losing out to Tygo. He won't gain on anyone ahead of him either, so he's going to stay P13 right now. Deck P6, I think he's still going to gain 2 spots for P4. He told Hazer to box. I mean, it depends. If he's going to lose a place to Tygo, then yeah, I'd agree. If he's not going to lose out to Tygo, you might want him to stay out. You can still get a fast lap as well, Hazer. Whether that's worth anything or not, maybe not, because it's not in the top 10. He is pitting though. Or he's a bit quick in, but he doesn't get a penalty, so he's into the pits, going to go for the inters again. This will be a second stop for Hazer. Bird, meanwhile, now is within 0.2 of a second of Ryan Banning. That's for the race lead as well, so we are just going to keep watch of this. We're going to give you the view.
That was a smooth operator.
Yeah, we're going to go with the view of Deck in 6th.
Carlos, check the radio. We seem to have picked up some dodgy music channel again.
Dodgy music indeed. So the Bird's still P2 behind Ryan, but 0.2 the gap. They are into the middle sector now. And maybe the Bird might just be going for it here. He's definitely going to look into the chicane, but he's going to stay behind. Don't forget, this was probably where they had the contact or when the Bird went off. So it was either contact or a mistake. Oh, Satcher with a 3 seconds. And Satcher right now, that could be helpful for Hazer potentially. But it's got a lot of time that he needs to gain, Hazer. And Bianchi also with 3 seconds. He's P11 ahead of Satcher. But he's behind Pesci. So Bianchi will not get ahead of Pesci in this race. Ryan Banning is in. Ryan Banning is into the pits. The Bird inherits the race lead.
Okay, guys, box.
What will they do now? Are they both going to pit? They're being told to pit.
Box in the same lap. You have enough of a gap between each.
Do they have to pit?
Box in the same lap.
Can he not stay out here?
Yeah,
Depends on the tyre wear fundamentally, but it's incredibly risky here. There's not a lot of time left in this race, and to pit for a second time on the inters.
Is it 40 plus? Yeah, 58.
Apparently the tyre wear is high. The tyre wear apparently is very high, so makes sense to pit here for the Bird, and I think he will. He's just ahead of Gatcher and Unknown. I mean, they're all within 1 second of each other, all 3 of them. That's how close it is. As you can see, Deck here still behind Robbie, doing a tremendous job. But the 2 behind him, Runnerred and Flores, have been gaining. Look, sounds of like they're all going to box here. So Bird, Deck, and Pesci will all pit this lap.
Stay out.
Don't get a 10 seconds. Deck's gone in cleanly. We're going to see Pesci go in as well. And the left, and top left, Pesci going in. And you're also going to see Hazer will stay out. Bird's obviously pitted as well. So you don't want to get a puncture, obviously, by the sounds of things, but at the same time, it is a long pit stop here at Imola. It is a very long stop. Oh, Jack F1's got a 10-second penalty. And that's a car right ahead of Pesci. So Jack's got 10 seconds and he's in front of Pesci here. That is quite significant for Pesci. He's the only one right now close to anybody. So the Bird is about 2.5 back to Ryan, but I don't know. I'm not sure on the strategies at the moment. It was very risky to pit again. Hopefully they'll be gaining incredibly quickly, but a few of these in the race lead will stay out. There's a kick Sauber off, and that is Monk in 16th, so nothing major. Yeah, Pesci right now still there behind Jack. Bianchi right behind him. Hopefully more people will pit, but the race leaders are staying out.
Yes, confirmed. Is the trick? Is it on now?
Yeah, all of the race leaders are staying out.
We forgot to connect, Jimmy. You will not have the drink, sorry. Is it on or not? The drink? Let me know.
No, you will
Okay.
not have the
And here comes Deck going for the overtake. Deck on the outside line. And he does make his way through, and Tygo there to the Red Bull
Is it empty?
up
Let me get
into
water.
8th place.
No, Kimi, no. You will not have the drink.
There you go. You will not have the drink. Say it's Kimi Raikkonen. Well, Deck can have a drink of the rain because he has found his way through. What about Pesci? Still there behind Jack as well. That remains in 10th and 11th. They are now gaining good time on the race leaders. Maybe 1.5, 2 seconds a lap, possibly, but it's not going to be enough at the moment. We need that tyre wear to really kick in. Maybe even punctures need to arise here for that top 5. And if they get a puncture, we have got a chance. Hopefully, they all get punctures. Wouldn't that be lovely? If all of the top 5 got a puncture, they would have no chance to even beat maybe Pesci. Pesci would come ahead of them. Hazer might get ahead of them as well, let alone Bird and Deck. So we've still got a chance here.
Top 5 is
Yeah, that top 5 have committed to staying out until the end. Such a long audio, Mr. P. It is, isn't it? It is a long audio, for sure. Let's have a look towards Pesci then, behind Jack. He's got F1 Bianchi right behind him as well, but Bianchi has 6 seconds of penalties. So he won't lose out to the Ferrari here. Into the pits also went Freedom. Freedom has retired from the race. So that is one for the Alpine team. And that's the same team as Robbie, XR8. So Freedom is in that team with Robbie and with Ryan Bannock as well. So an important retirement there for that team. Bit of a strange decision though by Freedom. So Ryan and Bird still continue to gain time. So they are definitely gaining some good time here.
Jack is just ahead of Beckett. FYI.
Ooh, Bianchi having a look on Pesci, not quite going for the overtake though. Pesci stays ahead. Looking at Bird. Bird's 2 seconds from Ryan. Oh, there are yellow flags for an Alpine. Is that the... I think that was Freedom, yeah. Freedom's retired car, sadly. Wish it was more than that. Wish it was one of the leaders having a puncture, but not quite. But yeah, Ryan and Bird are really quickly catching now. 12.5 seconds back for Ryan. About 14.2 for the Bird. Hoping that they can really make inroads in these last 4.5 laps here.
So you are
Got themselves a good chance, but Gatcha's got about half a second to Unknown. And don't forget, 3 of the top 5 have also got penalties. Gatcha, Unknown and Runner Red. 2 of them are for TTRE. So they have penalties as well. So we're hoping Bird and Deck can maybe get 1 or 2 spots out of this minimum. It's going to be tricky. Yeah, Imola's always one. I think they should have probably done a 1-stop. I think Imola's just that sort of track.
Yeah, I mean, Gacha has 9 seconds of penalty deck, so that's something to keep in mind. You guys are
Just sticking on with Pesci for the moment. Bird is gaining time on Ryan. He's at 1.3 back now. Ryan 10.7 from the top 5. That gap continues to drop. As we're speaking, it's probably just over 10 seconds actually now. I'm hoping to see more yellow flags on this track soon though. I'm really hoping punctures kick in for some of those top 5 drivers. Yeah, definitely hope they do. But yeah, Gacha and Unknown still about 3/10 between them. They're in the top 2. Robbie P3, he's 3 seconds behind him, so he might come away with a victory, Robbie. And you've got Flovis P4, Runner Red P5, Runner Red's got a penalty as well. Ryan P6, Bird P7, Bird has a penalty, 3 seconds. And Deck without a penalty is in P8. Pesci P11, Hazer P13, but Hazer's just ahead of Satcher in the Williams, so Hazer's under a bit of pressure now.
You should be within 4 seconds because you already have a 6 second.
And now Ryan and Bird are gaining good time here. They're at 7.5 seconds behind the cars in front. They've got a chance. I'm not entirely ruling out Bird here. Oh, it's Hazer now. Oh, Hazer. What's happening here? Hazer and Satcher. Satcher has 16 seconds of penalties, deciding he's going to have a go at attacking Hazer. Incredibly smart racing by the Williams. But Hazer, I mean, it might not be too silly just to let him go, to be fair, if he's going to fight that hard, but Hazer is just staying ahead for now. But Satcher making a late move, but Hazer just about defending it well. Covering him off. Pesci also. Oh, and Hazer's off. Hazer's off there. So Satcher goes through. Hazer just now needs to try and stick within that 10 seconds of him. Go towards Pesci then. Behind Jack, ahead of Bianchi. All within a second of each other, these three. Ryan Bannock now 4.4 seconds from Runner Red. Bird is within 6/10 as well. Satcher receives another penalty. That's 19 seconds now for Satcher. Very smart to battle Hazer in that way, of course, but yeah, there you go. He's now got another penalty. Pesci's got a great exit here as he tries to put out the chicane and trying to charge in on Jack, but Jack preserves P10. Obviously, has a 10-second penalty as well, so Pesci will overtake him coming the end. He will get through on Tiger as well, to get ahead of both the McLarens. And it looks like a P9 for Pesci. And Runner Red still closing in at 3.6 to Robbie. Bird and Ryan Bannock are gaining as well. Just trying to watch it on the stream at the same time. And some penalties are flying in, so it will be interesting what the results will be come the end of this. I'm a bit disappointed that on the actual stream they have not put the exact penalties on. That would be ideal. It would be more beneficial to have that on. Here we go. Pesci side by side with Jack. Can he get through? Yes, he can. And Pesci's got himself through. Pesci's up into 9th. It's superb by Pesci. So he's not got a penalty. And he has now cleared Jack. He's 13 seconds to Deck. So he's obviously not going to gain anything more than that. But Pesci is up into 9th now. Really strong from him.
Ryan is on the back of Rob.
So Ryan Bannock and the Bird still together, but they're 4.5 behind Robbie. And we're about to head on to the final lap as well. So the one-stopper was king, as you probably expect here at Imola. It just has to be a one-stopper. It's such a long circuit and a long pit stop as well. That's the main thing, a long pit stop. You're losing almost 30 seconds by pitting alone. But they've got to keep it together in that race lead, and they've still got some penalties as well lying around. Bird's having a look at a move here on Ryan, and Bird gets through on Ryan. Bird's up into 5th now. He has made his way through on Ryan Bannock. Can the Bird close in and maybe get 1 or 2 more spots here from Gatcher unknown? He's still got a penalty, which I'm hoping wasn't a real penalty. I'm hoping that he might have a chance to appeal it, but again, we didn't fully see it, so it's going to be tricky. But the Bird is up into the top 5. With a penalty, he will go back to P6. I'm hoping that he's close enough to gain time on Gatcher or unknown, however. They are in the top 2. It's quite a bit of a gap between them. Going to go back to the full view here of all 3. Oh! What on earth happened there?
He just got a puncture there.
Runner Red. Was that Runner Red with a puncture? I think it was. Deck's got the place of Runner. There's another one. Gatcher. Gatcher's off. Both Astons are 2 TTRV drivers are off. And here we go. Deck's going to get another spot. Unbelievable. Dramatic scenes right at the end. Bird is up into 4th. I think he's going to drop back to 5th. But they've all got places right at the end. Unknown takes... Oh, Unknown's dropping places here. Is all close. So Floris comes away with the victory. We'll go on with this view to show you the positions. Floris, Robbie, Ryan, unknown. Bird in 5th, Deck 6th, Pesci 7th. I think Hazer will get 14th or maybe a bit higher. Gatcher's retired. Hazer will get 13th. Can he get anything more than that? I think Hazer saved 13th, so 5th, 6th and 7th for Bird, Deck and Pesci. We saw Bird had more pace than that as well. But there you go. I think they'll all be happy with a top 7 finish.
Oh my god.
And we can have the
Honestly,
full sound of the chat now.
Yeah.
If we had hit two laps earlier, I might have been able to get second, even with my penalties.
Yeah.
Gotcha retired.
Right, the mic working.
That's
Yeah.
Spies honestly just fucked my race. Like, I would have been able to take
Wait
the
on that
entire
full
time.
screen.
Yeah.
So go on to Pesci. There you go.
Yeah, be happy. We are very happy.
So Bird had 6 seconds. I didn't even know he had the extra 3. Again, the league stream didn't even show the penalty screen, unfortunately. But they done well.
Horrible. Horrible race.
Yeah, one more lap, dude. One more lap. Shit.
Yeah, P5 for P6 Deck, P7 Pesci,
Yeah, so
P12 for Hazer. So we did get a couple of spots for Hazer at the end. I need to have a look. What's the point system in this league? Let's see if I can find it out.
I need to get better in the rain, bro. I'm so shit. Like, it only took me to like halfway through the race to get any sort of pace. Because I can't gauge where I am or how late I can brake. Or just how much grip I've got.
Need to get better on the battery as well, Pesci, I'd say. But there you go. We saw how low he was at times on the battery.
Much better at it.
But Bird, even if you do get the penalty with that guy Freedom if he reports you, we don't have to worry because you still end up between Deck and Pesh if you get a penalty. So we are still fine.
Still taking point buys.
Wait, who was the guy who might report?
The Freedom. I think Bird did a very late move. So from the stream, it looked like Bird actually barged past him. But for me, I felt like Bird was already on the inside and he turned in from the outside.
Wait, look, on stream how much pace he has. There's not enough car space on the inside, so you wouldn't report that. You won't go anywhere with that.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Nice. Yeah. Beautiful, guys. Well done. There's a great job, dude. Thanks for playing the team game by walking in early to check out the tires, dude. Yeah.
Cheers, Walter. But yeah, they did well. They did well, that's for sure. The fair play to all of them on that one. I agree with Wovana, Badger, Ziggy, Merc. Absolutely. Just looking at trying to find the point system, it's not particularly clear. Let's see. It's still not clear. They might go with the real life system, which would therefore result in Hazer not getting points. But hopefully they do. Hopefully 15 drivers get points or whatever it is. Yeah, it is. Again, obviously it would be nice if Bird's in a position where he can stream as well. Because if we had Bird streaming, and guess what? You guessed it. Yep, we'll get all 4 drivers in on that. If not, then obviously, well, we can only go with what it is. But it would also be nice to have the league stream. Because if we had the league stream, we might be able to see Bird at times, on it. Obviously, I was giving you some updates throughout, but yeah, it would be nice to have either Bird's POV or the league POV. But Bird's POV would probably be better for us, I think. So I think that's what we ideally would need. Should be better next week. So bad at Imola. Yeah, tricky track as well. And I think the 2-stop was always a bit more risky. I think you probably would be favouring a 1-stop here at Imola with how long the pit stops are. But obviously, you all gained pretty much a couple of spots at the end anyway. So you win some, you lose some at the end of the day. But I think you all put in a very good effort. And yeah, strong stuff. I think 3 drivers up there in the top 10. Hazer just outside of it as well. So all 4 done really well. And again, it's a first official eSports race. So they've all done a tremendous job there for all 4 drivers. But anyways, for tonight, I will leave it there. But yeah, good effort from all 4 and fair play. Thank you to, obviously, Destroyer Jack, to the Poems as well, helping us get involved in the esports journey. And I'll be back racing tomorrow. And of course, I think Woody Fernandez will be back on commentary for our Tier 1 race. Our Tier 1 race tomorrow is going to be at Melbourne. We'll be heading to Australia. So we'll be back tomorrow for the Australian Grand Prix in Tier 1. Thank you for watching and good night.